Tip-top, Captain.
So that's a no.
Why do you care? I'm just here to fix things, right?
Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, after that Avengers game kind of flopped, most of us didn't expect much from this. It looked a little clunky in early trailers and folks were like, whatever. But then it dropped, and turns out it's actually one of the best story-driven superhero games in years.
A life-altering experience, yes.
Here's the thing, the writing is sharp. Like legit funny, emotional, and kinda wholesome in a messy space family kind of way. The crew's always talking, bickering, throwing jokes or insults at each other, and somehow it never gets annoying. It actually makes missions feel alive. You play as Star-Lord, and well, yeah, it would have been cool to play the others too. Being this sort of leader fits the story. You're constantly making calls mid-conversation, like, do you support Rocket's plan, or back Gamora's logic? Those little choices don't change the ending much, but they shift the vibe. It's more about how your crew feels about you.
Tell that to the giant Kratakan army of robots and brainwash...
Gameplay-wise, it's got this combo-style combat system where you're blasting enemies while commanding the team to do special moves. And yeah, early on it feels kind of button-mashy, not gonna lie, but the more powers you unlock, the more fun it gets. Like juggling enemies in the air while Groot roots them in place and Drax slams them to the ground. It's not deep, but it's flashy and satisfying once it clicks. Now, let's talk visuals. Dude, this game pops. The worlds are colorful, weird, and full of that classic Marvel space nonsense. You go from neon cities to slime-filled alien jungles to creepy cult temples. It never gets boring to look at, and there's always something new waiting around the corner. And yeah, the story, way more emotional than I expected. It's got heavy moments, especially with Peter's past and his mom, plus some real character growth for everyone. Rocket's backstory hit harder than I thought it would have. The game actually gets deep about trauma, regret, loyalty, without ever losing its humor. That balance is tough to pull off, but this game nails it. Also, the music is fire. It's got this full-on 80s licensed soundtrack, like legit bangers, mixed with original rock songs from a fake band they made just for the game. It's so cheesy and perfect, fits the vibe exactly. Binary Domain. So Binary Domain is one of those games you probably skip just because the cover looked kind of boring. Big dude with a gun, robots, generic name. Yeah, I get it. But here's the thing. It's actually kind of sick once you start playing. You're this dude named Dan, part of a squad sent to future Tokyo to deal with a robot problem. Sounds basic, but it gets interesting fast. Some of these robots don't even know they're robots. They think they're people, and you gotta hunt them down. That already feels a little messed up, right? The game plays like a third-person shooter. If you played Gears of War, it feels kind of like that. You hide behind stuff, shoot robots, move forward. The shooting feels solid. Enemies break apart when you hit them. Arms fly off, heads pop. It's satisfying.
Side's done, yo. I'll help you out.
There's also some big boss fights with huge machines that actually feel cool to fight, not annoying. You've got a squad with you and they talk a lot, but it's not bad. They've got personality. One guy's loud and funny, one's chill, one's a robot that talks like a polite butler. You can give them commands and they'll listen. Unless they don't like you. That's part of the game too. If you keep yelling at them or doing dumb stuff, they stop trusting you. But if you play it smart and back them up, they start having your back more. It's a small thing, but it adds a bit of flavor. What really makes this game worth playing though, is the story. It starts simple, but it gets kind of deep without being confusing. And yeah, the game's a little rough in spots. Some voice lines are cheesy, the voice command stuff feels like a gimmick, but honestly, the rest holds up. It's fun, it moves fast, and it's not super long. You can finish it in a few sittings. Most folks missed this game back then. It didn't have a big name or big budget, but if you want a shooter with heart, something a little different from the usual stuff, this one's worth checking out. It's got cool robots, solid story, and characters you actually remember.
Welcome to the Resistance.
What, an impound lot in the middle of the city?
I believe you.
Fuck's sake, Jules. You're a driver now. You want respect on the circuit? You gotta stop thinking.
The Saboteur. So the Saboteur is one of those games that kind of disappeared. Like you probably saw it once, maybe you thought it looked weird, then forgot about it. But honestly, it's got a vibe. It's not super polished or perfect or anything like that, but it does something different, and that's what makes it stick. You play as this guy named Sean. He's an Irish race car driver who ends up in Nazi-occupied France during World War II. And yeah, he's pissed. Something personal happened, won't spoil it, but now he's working with the French resistance, blowing up Nazi stuff, and sneaking around Paris like a total badass. The first thing that hits you is how the game looks. When you start, the world is all black and white, like an old movie, but with red for Nazi flags and yellow for lights. Kinda creepy, kinda cool. Then when you fight back in free areas, the color comes back. The more Nazis you take out, the more life comes back to the city. It's not just a gimmick, it actually feels good, like you're changing something. Gameplay is open world. You can run around the city, climb buildings, drive cars, shoot people, plant bombs, whatever. It's kind of like Assassin's Creed mixed with GTA, but not as deep. And yeah, the controls are a bit janky sometimes.
I brought the medicine.
Oh, good. The wound.
But the missions are fun. One minute you're sneaking into a base dressed like a Nazi, the next minute you're blowing up a tower and racing out in a stolen car. Sean as a character is great too. He's got that rough, sarcastic, I don't care vibe, but not in a try-hard way. He actually grows on you. He drinks, swears, punches Nazis, real old-school action movie energy. The voice acting is solid.
You can't stay here. Come on, I'll take you back to the bed.
And the world has a lot of little moments that give it flavor. Jazz clubs, people walking the streets, German patrols everywhere. It feels alive in its own gritty way. Now yeah, the game ain't perfect. It's kind of buggy, the climbing is stiff, some of the shooting feels off, but it's the kind of game where the idea is so strong, you can forgive the rough parts. Like, no other game really does this, bring color back to the world while you fight the bad guys. It makes everything you do feel like it matters, even if it's just a side mission. And the sad part is, the studio behind it, Pandemic, got shut down right after this game dropped, so there was no sequel, no updates, just this one strange, stylish, underrated game that got buried. If you like open world games with a little heart and a lot of blowing stuff up, this one's worth going back to. The Saboteur isn't clean or modern or anything like that, but it's got style, it's got guts, and it's got one of the coolest vibes from that whole generation of games.
Christ.
Kena Bridge of Spirits. This game looks like a Pixar movie. No joke, the visuals are just that clean. But it's not just pretty, it's a full single player game with a real heart. So while Kena was one of those games I kind of went into not expecting much. It looked nice in trailers, like really nice, but you know how that goes sometimes. Turns out it's actually a proper little gem. You play as Kena, this spirit guide who helps the dead move on. It sounds dark, but the game actually has a peaceful, almost meditative vibe most of the time. It's set in this foresty world with little abandoned villages and shrines, and the whole thing just has this calm energy to it. Even when things get heavy emotionally, it never feels too depressing or edgy. The gameplay is pretty simple. You've got your staff, which later becomes a bow, and you can parry, dodge, use some light abilities. It's not super deep like Devil May Cry or anything, but it's smooth and fun enough to carry the game. There's just enough challenge to keep you on your toes, especially in boss fights, but nothing frustrating. It's more about the overall experience than mastering combat. Now, the real stars of the game is the Rot. These tiny fuzzy black creatures that follow you around and help you out. They're cute in a non-annoying way, like they're just there vibing with you. You can collect hats for them too, which, I mean, yeah, it's silly, but it made me smile every time. It gives the game some personality without trying too hard. And it's worth saying this was Ember Lab's first game. Before this, they made animated shorts, that's it. So the fact that they dropped something this polished, this complete right out the gate, that's actually wild. Like, yeah, you can feel a bit of that first game energy in places, like the platforming could be tighter and the story could have gone deeper, but still, that's one of the better debut games I've seen. By the way, one of the best part it can be is that it's a short game, like 8-10 hours, maybe 12 if you explore everything. Which, honestly, in a time where every game wants 60+ hours from you, this was refreshing. You get in, play something beautiful and heartfelt, then move on. No dragging your feet through filler. It respects your time. If you're in the mood for something simple, wholesome, and visually beautiful, Kena is just easy to recommend. No catch. It just wants to be a good little story game, and honestly, that's enough.
You're gonna back down? Come on, fight back!
Sleeping Dogs. Sleeping Dogs is straight up one of the most slept on open world games ever. Like, I don't get how this didn't blow up. People talk about GTA, people talk about Yakuza, but somehow this one just slipped through the cracks. And it's crazy because it's easily one of the coolest open world games I ever touched. So here's the deal. You're playing as Wei Shet. He's an undercover cop who goes back to Hong Kong to infiltrate the triads. Sounds basic, right? Like cop goes undercover, blah blah, but no, it's not basic. The story gets intense. Wei isn't just some boring dude in a badge, he's got this real inner conflict going on. He starts getting deep into the gang, making friends, doing dirty work, and after a while you kind of forget he's even a cop. And so does he, honestly. And the city, well, it's not super big like GTA 5 or anything, but it feels alive. You can walk around Hong Kong streets, hear people yelling in Cantonese, see markets, neon signs, noodle shops, rainy back alleys. It's got that cozy, chaotic vibe that just hits different. And the driving it's kind of underrated. You can do these wild stunt hijacks mid-chase, like jumping from one car to another while flying down a highway. It's dumb as hell, and it rules. But here's what really makes the game stand out, the hand-to-hand combat. Most open-world games are all about guns. This one, it's like Arkham-style martial arts mixed with Jackie Chan movies. You're slamming dudes into fish tanks, tossing them into phone booths, kicking them through windows. It's violent, but it's got this flow to it. You feel like an absolute badass. And speaking of Jackie Chan, fun fact, this game was almost a true crime sequel. Like, same series as True Crime Streets of LA. But that project got cancelled, and the devs just went, screw it, we'll make our own game, and Sleeping Dogs was born. So in a way, it's a zombie game, like a cancelled game that came back from the dead, and somehow ended up being better than it probably should have been. This game deserved way more love. Like, if you ever wanted a mix of Yakuza drama, GTA chaos, and Arkham-style brawling, all set in a cool-ass Hong Kong world, this is it!
They'll just have to drink through a straw for a while.
Where are you going? Let's get off this thing!
Enslaved Odyssey to the West. So this one right here, Enslaved Odyssey to the West, this game is so slept on, it's kind of crazy. Like, barely anyone talks about it, but it's actually one of the coolest adventure games from the PS3 and Xbox 360 days. It's got a great story, fun characters, and a really beautiful world. You play as this dude named Monkey? Yeah, that's literally his name. He's super strong, climbs around like a beast, and can fight like a champ. At the start of the game, Monkey's trapped on this big slave ship, but then everything goes wrong and the ship crashes. He survives, but there's a twist. A girl named Trip puts this headband on him, and now if she dies, he dies too. So boom, they're stuck together whether they like it or not. At first, Monkey's not happy about it. Trip's smart, but she's not a fighter, so Monkey has to protect her through this crazy journey across the post-apocalyptic world. The whole place is full of broken cities, robots gone wild, and nature growing over old buildings. It's not like the dark, gray apocalypse you usually see in games. This one is colorful and kind of pretty in a weird way. The gameplay is a mix of climbing, fighting, and working together with Trip. Monkey can beat up robots with a staff, throw stuff, and do cool moves in combat, but Trip helps too. She can distract enemies, hack machines, and unlock paths. So you're always working as a team. It's not super hard, and that's what makes it fun. It's just smooth and chill, like you're going on a big road trip through a wild world.
Okay, just leave it to me.
But the real reason this game hits hard is the characters. Monkey and Trip start off not trusting each other at all, but over time, they kind of bond. The way they talk, the small looks they give each other, it all feels real. Like, you can tell the game was trying to be more than just a normal action game. It actually makes you care about them. There's also a dude named Pigsy who shows up later, and he's hilarious. Big, loud, kind of gross, but funny as hell. And let's talk about the story real quick. It's based on an old Chinese tale called Journey to the West, but they turned it into a sci-fi thing. There's mystery in there too, like what really happened to the world and who's behind all the robot stuff. The ending hits kind of hard too. It's one of those, dang, I didn't expect that moments. Not some big twist for no reason, but it makes you think a little. Anyway, Enslaved didn't sell super well, and that's a shame, because it looks good, plays smooth, and tells a real cool story with heart. It's not too long either, maybe around 8 to 10 hours, perfect weekend game. If you like games like Uncharted or Tomb Raider but want something a little different, a little more chill, this one's a solid pick. It's one of those hidden gems that most folks missed, but once you try it, you're like, yo, how did I not know about this game? The Forgotten City. So here's the basic idea about this game. You wake up near some old Roman ruins, right? And next thing you know, you're pulled into this underground city where everyone's living under this weird rule called the Golden Rule. If even one person commits a sin, the whole city gets wrecked. Like literally, everyone turns into gold statues. Yeah, it sounds kind of crazy, but the game takes it seriously and runs with it. What makes it so cool is the way it plays with time. You're stuck in a time loop, kind of like Majora's Mask or Outer Wilds, but way more grounded. You talk to people, gather clues, and slowly start piecing together what's really going on here. You can reset the day anytime, and each time you go back, you use what you've learned to try and change the outcome. But it's not just puzzles and detective stuff. The writing here is actually legit. Like, the dialogue feels real. The characters aren't just boring quest givers. They've got their own beliefs, stories, arguments. Some of them are kind of shady. Some of them are just trying to survive. And you're stuck in the middle of it all, trying to fix things without getting everyone killed. And get this whole game started as a Skyrim mod. No joke. The guy who made it eventually turned it into a full game with its own engine, voice acting, art, everything. That's wild. And the fact that it turned out this polished, kind of impressive. It's also short, which I liked. It took me around 6 to 8 hours to see most of what it had to offer. There are multiple endings too, and they're actually worth seeing. Like, it's not just good versus bad endings. Some of them are kind of morally tricky. Depends on how you played it and what you believe was the right thing to do. Honestly, if you like story-focused games that don't waste your time and actually make you think a little bit, this one's worth checking out. No combat-heavy stuff, just exploration, talking, and figuring things out in a city stuck in a very weird situation. Remember Me. Well, the game is literally called Remember Me, but kind of sad that it really didn't happen. Honestly, this game had so much style, but almost nobody played it, which is wild, because it's one of those games that looks and feels way cooler than you'd expect. It's kind of like a sci-fi action movie mixed with a puzzle game and a little bit of Assassin's Creed style climbing, but with memory hacking. Yeah, for real, memory hacking. You play as this girl named Nilin. She's a memory hunter, which basically means she can go into people's minds and mess with their memories. She can erase stuff, steal info, or even change how someone remembers a thing, which can totally flip their behavior. But when the game starts, Nilin's got her own mind wiped. She doesn't even remember who she is. So now she's on a mission to get her memories back and take down the shady company that's controlling people's minds in this futuristic city. The world of this game is nuts. It's called Neo Paris, and it's this future version of Paris that's super high-tech but also broken in some places. You got flying cars, big screens everywhere, glowing lights, robots, but then you turn a corner and see poor people living in the shadows. The game just looks cool. Like, seriously, the city design is beautiful.
I've sprinkled the route with memory.
It's one of those games that you stop just to look around. Gameplay-wise, it's a mix of combat, climbing, and puzzle stuff. The combat is kind of like a lighter version of Arkham or Devil May Cry. You punch, kick, dodge, and you can make your own combo moves, which is fun. You build your own fighting style with different effects like healing or more damage. It's not super deep, but it's stylish and satisfying. The real standout though is the memory remixing. These are moments when you actually go into someone's head and change a memory. You watch the scene play out, rewind it, and then mess with little things to change the outcome. It's like editing a video in someone's brain. Super creative and honestly kind of creepy in the best way. The story has got a serious tone. It's all about control, privacy, and how tech can mess with people's minds and emotions. Nilin's journey is personal, but it also ties into something bigger. You're not just saving yourself, you're fighting back against the system that's hurting a whole city. And Nilin herself is a cool character. She's tough, smart, but also lost. You feel bad for her, and you root for her the whole time.
Bad!
Vampyr. Alright, so Vampyr is one of those games that barely anybody talks about. It came out a while back, and yeah, most people totally missed it. But honestly, this game is kind of special. It's not perfect, but it has a cool idea and some real heart. You play as a doctor named Jonathan Reed. One day, he wakes up, and boom, he's a vampire. He doesn't know how or why it happened, and the worst part is this is all happening while the Spanish flu is hitting London hard. So yeah, people are already dying in the streets, and now you're a blood-sucking monster on top of that.
Mary.
Here's where the game gets interesting. You're a doctor, so you're supposed to help people. But you're also a vampire now, so you need blood to survive and get stronger. So the game lets you choose. You can help people in the city, talk to them, learn their problems, heal them from sickness, or you can kill them, drink their blood, and level up fast. But once you kill someone, they're gone forever. And the game remembers that.
Behavior is similar to the infected.
Whole parts of the city can change depending on who you kill or save. The world in Vampyr feels dark and heavy. It's always night, always raining, and the music makes it feel super moody. Everyone's sad or sick or hiding something. And there's a ton of talking, but it's not boring. You really start to care about some of the people you meet. You'll meet nurses, bar owners, homeless folks, even weird vampire hunters. They all have their own little stories. And yeah, it's up to you if you want to be the good guy or the monster. Now, the fighting in this game, it's okay. Not amazing, but fun enough. You get to swing weapons, use vampire powers, dash around, bite enemies in battle. It kind of feels like a mix between a simple hack and slash and a dark RPG. If you want to make the fights easier, you gotta feed on people. But again, the more people you kill, the more broken the world becomes. So it's always a choice. Be weak and good, or strong and evil. Vampyr isn't a big, fancy game. It's a little rough around the edges. The graphics are decent, the controls are fine, and it sometimes feels a bit slow, but if you like story games with choices and dark vibes, it's worth playing. It has a real cool setting, great voice acting, and just something different. It's not like other Vampyr games where you're just running around biting people for fun. This one makes you think about what kind of person you want to be. Most people didn't give this game a chance, but if you want something underrated with a deep story and cool vampire stuff, Vampyr is a solid pick. Just sit back, enjoy the gloomy London nights, and see what kind of vampire you turn out to be.
Ooh, I feel evil around us.
A Plague Tale Requiem. Man, this is such a beautiful but heavy game. Like, the first thing that hits you is the graphics. It's honestly crazy how good this game looks. I'm talking photo mode every 5 minutes good. You walk into these open fields with golden sunlight pouring in, or through abandoned towns covered in decay, and it just feels so rich. And then you've got scenes with like rivers of rats just flooding through streets, and it's disgusting, but kind of stunning at the same time. The atmosphere is a whole other level too. It's not just dark for the sake of being dark, it builds tension. Every step, every shadow, every flicker of torchlight puts you on edge. It's not horror, but the vibe is always uneasy. You never fully relax. Even the quiet moments feel like something bad could happen. Gameplay-wise, they stepped it up from the first game. You still sneak a lot, but Amicia feels more grown. She's tougher now. She can use a crossbow, toss tar, distract enemies with smarter tools. It's still about avoiding fights when you can, but if you mess up, you've got more options than just dying. That being said, the game doesn't want you to go full Rambo. When you kill, especially with your bare hands, it feels intense. Like the game wants you to think, was that really necessary? And I kind of respect that. One of the coolest things, honestly, is how the game blends peaceful, quiet exploration with these brutal, intense moments. One second you're walking through a peaceful garden, the next you're watching an entire village get wiped out by a sea of rats. And the rats, dude, I've never seen anything like that in the game. They move like a wave, swarming, climbing, devouring. It's gross, but weirdly mesmerizing. In the story, yeah, it's sad. Amicia's going through hell trying to save her brother Hugo, and you can feel her getting more desperate, more broken. There's no happy hero saves the day vibe. It's more like, how far would you go to protect the one person you love? Even when she's doing questionable stuff, you get it. She's not trying to be a hero. She's just a big sister holding it together.
This place feels familiar.
Also gotta mention, this game is surprisingly open at times. Not full open world, but way bigger than the first one. You get these bigger areas to explore, and they're gorgeous. It gives the game room to breathe, and honestly, I kinda just like walking around sometimes, taking it in before the next mess hit. If you're into emotional, cinematic stuff that actually looks and feels next gen, and you don't mind it being a bit heavy, Requiem is worth every minute. Just, don't expect to feel great afterward.
He will know. I'm not doing this quickly.
Singularity. So here's the setup. You're this soldier dude sent to a weird island that the government covered up. Classic shady military stuff. But the second you get there, things start getting messed up. Time starts glitching, people are melting, buildings are shifting. You don't know what's going on, and neither does your guy. And that's part of what makes it fun. You're dropped into the middle of this mystery, and you gotta figure it out as you go. Not long after, you get this thing called the TMD, Time Manipulation Device. It's this gadget on your hand that lets you mess with time. You can age stuff, rewind it, freeze enemies, or make things decay. It sounds wild, but it works. You can fix broken staircases by rewinding them, or make a crate old and rusty so it falls apart. In combat, you can age enemies until they turn to dust. It's fun to mess around with, and gives the gameplay something different.
I'll be there in a minute and draw the soldiers' attention away from you.
The shooting feels solid. You've got your usual guns, assault rifle, shotgun, sniper, but once you mix in the time powers, it gets way more interesting. Like, freeze a guy in place and then pop him with a shotgun, or turn a monster into a baby version and squash it. Yeah, it's weird, but weird in the good way. Also, the story honestly isn't bad at all. It's kind of like BioShock mixed with Wolfenstein. Russian science experiments, time travel, alternate timelines, all that kind of stuff. There's even a few choices that change the ending. The vibe is dark, but not too depressing. You're still blowing stuff up, solving little puzzles, and exploring creepy labs. It moves fast too, no boring side quests or open world fluff, just a tight single-player shooter with a cool twist.
Captain, I must warn you that the DMD...
Now, yeah, it's got some jank. The graphics are a little dated, some of the enemy designs are kind of goofy, and the voice acting is just okay. But the ideas here are strong. The pacing's good, and the game knows when to stop. It doesn't drag on forever. It's one of those games you play over a weekend and go, dang, that was actually kind of awesome. Most people never played it, or they forgot it even existed. But if you want something short, fun, and different from the usual shooter stuff, Singularity is worth going back to. No fancy nonsense, just a good time-warping FPS that does its own thing. Lost Odyssey. So this is one of those games that feels like a time capsule. It came out during the Xbox 360 era, but when you boot it up now, there's this weird charm to it, like a JRPG that refuses to let go of that old school Final Fantasy DNA. And that makes sense, because it was made by Hironobu Sakaguchi, the guy who literally created Final Fantasy. So yeah, this game's got that soul baked into every part. The big hook here, you play as Kaim, this immortal dude who's been alive for 1,000 years. And yeah, he's basically forgotten everything about his past. But throughout the game, you slowly start unlocking these short stories, literal text stories that reveal pieces of his memories. And let me tell you, these aren't just filler lore. These memory scenes are low-key some of the best writing in any RPG. Like, you'll be sitting there, no flashy cutscene, no music blaring, just reading, and suddenly you're crying over some random village girl he met 400 years ago. The emotion sneaks up on you. Graphically, it obviously shows its age, but it still holds up surprisingly well. Especially the character faces. They've got that kind of semi-realistic look, and the cutscenes are super cinematic. Like, they feel like they poured all the budget into those.
The Republic shall be abolished, and the Council shall be dissolved.
Golden Boy sure taking.
There's something about the way the camera moves during emotional scenes. It just hits different for a 2007 game. Combat is classic turn-based stuff with a bit of a twist. You've got this timing-based ring system when you attack. If you get the timing just right, you deal extra damage or effects. Simple, but satisfying. And the whole setup of mortals versus immortals in your party actually matters. Immortals don't learn skills from leveling up. They absorb them from mortals. So you're always thinking about party combos in a smart way. The world itself is that perfect mix of medieval, industrial, and a little weird magic tech without getting too confusing. You've got big cities, snowy mountains, creepy factories, weird dreamlike sequences. There's a lot of variety. But what really makes it stick is the vibe. It's a game about loss, about memory, about watching people you love grow old and die while you stay the same. Kaim may be a tank in battle, but the dude's carrying a mountain of pain, and you feel it. Lost Odyssey isn't perfect. The pacing drags here and there, and loading screens are kind of slow. But if you can vibe with its slower, more emotional rhythm, this game is way deeper than most modern RPGs even try to be. It doesn't care about trend chasing. It just tells a powerful, human story with heart.
Here. Why the disguise?
This was the only way.
If you've never played it, or maybe skipped it because it was Xbox only, now's the time to dig it up. It deserves way more love than it ever got. As Dusk Falls. As Dusk Falls is one of those games that doesn't look like much at first. You see the cover or maybe a trailer and it kind of looks like some artsy motion comic thing that's barely animated. Like the characters move but don't really move. It feels odd at first, not gonna lie. But man, once you actually sit down and play it, it grabs you in a way most games just don't. This isn't your typical video game. There's no combat. No open world. You don't walk around exploring stuff. The whole thing is focused on story and choices. So if you're the kind of person who's into character-driven stuff like TV shows with drama, crime, family problems and all that, this game just hits the spot. It starts out with this tense robbery at a motel and it keeps piling on more and more pressure. But here's the thing. The story isn't just about the robbery. That's just the spark. It ends up being about two families, their messed up lives, and how one single night just spirals into years of consequences. Like, it literally follows people for decades. It's about guilt, trauma, forgiveness, stuff that doesn't just go away the next day. That part really hit me.
Thelma and Louise.
What makes it even crazier is how your choices actually matter. I know a lot of games say that, but here it's real. You can choose to lie, run, fight, stay quiet, and every choice feels like it could blow everything up. You'll be sitting there, controller in hand, thinking, oh god, what do I do? And whatever you choose, the game sticks with it. People can die, kids get scarred for life, families split, or maybe they find peace. It depends on you. The characters are all pretty believable too. Like there's this dad who's just trying to keep his family safe, but he's also made some really bad choices. Then there's this teen who wants to break free from his toxic family. Nobody's perfect here, and that makes it way more interesting. You end up caring about people you didn't expect to. Gameplay is super simple. You mostly pick dialogue and do quick-time actions. So yeah, it's not action-packed. But the tension comes from the story. It's the kind of game where you just sit forward on the couch, quiet, thinking what the hell's gonna happen next? The art style grows on you. I thought I wouldn't like it, but after a while, it kind of fits. It's almost like watching a gritty graphic novel come to life. And the voice acting does a lot of the heavy lifting. It's really solid. The actors sound like real people going through real crap. Not overly dramatic, not cheesy, just grounded.
Those sons of bitches did to Dale. My beautiful baby. All his life, they had it in for him.
The ability to see what no human being has ever seen before. It's all mixed up.
Beyond Two Souls. Beyond Two Souls is a weird one. Not in a bad way, it's just different. If you've played stuff like Heavy Rain or Detroit Become Human, you'll kinda know what to expect here. It's that same Quantic Dream style.
Good, Jody. Anything else in the room you can move?
Heavy on story, tons of choices, and very little traditional gameplay. But what makes this one stand out is the whole supernatural twist. So the basic idea is you play as this girl named Jody, who's connected to a weird ghost-like thing called Aiden. She's had him since birth, and no one really understands what the hell he is. He's not evil or anything, but he's unpredictable. Sometimes he helps her, sometimes he messes stuff up, but they're stuck with each other. That connection between Jody and Aiden, that's the heart of the whole game. Now what's really unique is how the story jumps all over the place. One moment you're playing Jody as a scared little kid being experimented on in the lab, the next you're a fugitive on the run, then you're in the military, then you're homeless. It's all out of order, kind of like a movie told in flashbacks. That can be a little confusing at first, but after a while it starts making sense. The idea is that you're slowly putting together the full picture of her life, all the trauma, all the weird events, all the stuff she never asked for. Also, visually man, even today, this game looks solid, especially for when it came out. The facial animations are nuts, especially in the close-up scenes. You can really see the acting shine through. The sadness in her eyes, the way she flinches, little things like that. And the lighting and atmosphere in some of the chapters are straight up movie quality. Gameplay is super chill. You walk around, interact with stuff, make dialogue choices, and sometimes you control Aiden, who can float around, go through walls, knock stuff over, even choke people if things get tense. There's also some light stealth and a few quick time events, but nothing super hard or annoying. It's more about what you do than how you do it.
Get into cover.
Spec Ops: The Line. Spec Ops: The Line puts you in the boots of Captain Martin Walker. You're sent into a destroyed Dubai after a massive sandstorm wiped the city out and cut it off from the world. Your mission? Simple. Find out what happened to a missing US battalion led by a guy named Colonel Conrad. That's it. Sounds like another day at the office, right? Nope. As you go deeper into the city, the story gets dark. And I don't mean Call of Duty dark, where things explode and your best friend dies in slow motion. I mean morally messed up, question your sanity kind of dark. This game isn't about saving the day, it's about losing yourself, making choices that feel wrong, and then being forced to live with them. And that's what makes it so powerful. It tricks you. It sets you up with all the familiar shooter stuff, cover mechanics, sand-covered enemies, slow-mo headshots, and then it flips the whole thing on its head. The game literally uses the fact that you're used to these kinds of games to mess with you. Like, it knows what you expect, and then it slaps you in the face with the consequences of following orders without thinking. There's this one mission, and if you've heard anything about the game, you probably already know which one I'm talking about, where you use white phosphorus on a group of enemies. Except they weren't just enemies. I'm not going to spoil the whole thing, but that scene will stick with you. It's uncomfortable. And the worst part, the game doesn't let you blame someone else. You pressed the button. You made the call. The fallout is yours to deal with. And man, that guilt doesn't go away. The further you get, the more twisted things get. Walker starts having visions. He starts questioning everything. His team starts falling apart. You, as the player, are constantly being forced to ask, am I still the good guy here? And the game isn't going to hold your hand or give you a clean answer. It lets you sit in it. The environment plays a big role too. Dubai isn't just a background. It feels like a character. The bright sunlight, the broken buildings half buried in sand, the eerie silence, it's haunting. This is not a place where heroes are made. It's a graveyard.
Sit tight, Luco. I'm on my way.
And the deeper in you go, the more the world just starts to feel sick and wrong. Gameplay-wise, it's a third-person cover shooter. Nothing groundbreaking in terms of mechanics. You take cover, shoot, toss grenades, command your squad. But honestly, the gameplay isn't the point. It's just the delivery system for the story. That might sound like a bad thing, but here, it works. Because while you're doing standard shooter stuff, your brain is getting punched in the gut by the story.
He was right about you. Look, if people find out what he...
Life is Strange 2. You know, Life is Strange 1 was kind of a moment. Like, people still talk about Max and Chloe, the rewind power, it just hit different. But Life is Strange 2? Most folks just kind of skipped it. And honestly, that sucks, because it actually deserves way more love than it gets. This one doesn't try to copy the first game. It does its own thing. You're not in high school, there's no photography class, no quirky small town. None of that. Instead, you're out here playing as Sean, this regular teenager, and your little brother Daniel suddenly develops these crazy telekinesis powers after a super messed up incident with the cops. And boom, you're on the run. Like full-on fugitives, sleeping in the woods, getting chased, begging strangers for food. It's rough, but it's also real. The game's more about survival and brotherhood than anything else.
Hey! You guys go ahead and we'll come back to meet you.
Sean's basically forced into this dad role overnight. You're teaching your little brother how to act, how to survive, how to be a person, and that stuff actually matters. The game watches everything you do, and Daniel picks up on it. Be violent? He'll start doing that too. Lie to people? He'll start thinking that's normal. It's kind of wild how deep that system goes. And the vibe? Man, it's such a mix. Some moments are super chill, like walking through forests, listening to soft indie music while the sun sets. Other times it's just tense and awkward, like getting weird looks from strangers at a gas station because you're two Mexican kids traveling alone. It doesn't sugarcoat anything.
Here it comes.
Oh, hi there.
The visuals aren't AAA fancy or whatever, but the art style is super moody and warm. It's got that painterly look, and the way it frames quiet moments, like just talking around a campfire or watching Daniel draw in a notebook, it actually hits pretty hard. It makes you feel the journey, the cold, the hunger, the hope. Now, yeah, not every episode is perfect. Some parts are slow, some side characters don't stick, but honestly, the core relationship between Sean and Daniel carries the whole thing. It's messy, emotional, and sometimes frustrating, like real siblings. You're not always the perfect big brother, Daniel's not always the sweet little kid, and that's what makes it feel real.
You need some medicine. Look. Here.
Done with them. More of these hapless bastards would pop up.
Call of Juarez Gunslinger. This game right here is straight up one of the most slept on shooters ever. Like, it came out quietly, didn't make a big splash, and honestly, most folks forgot it even exists. But Gunslinger, it's a blast. Fast, stylish, and way more clever than it had any right to be.
This wasn't such a good idea, but now that the shooting has started...
At first glance, yeah, it's just another Western FPS. You're some cowboy gunning down outlaws, right? But here's the twist. The whole game is being narrated by this old bounty hunter named Silas Greaves, and he's just straight up telling tall tales in a saloon. And I mean tall. Like, I fought Jesse James and Billy the Kid at the same time kind of stories. And here's the cool part. When Silas changes his story mid-sentence, the game literally rewrites itself in front of you. Like 1 second, you're fighting Apaches. Then he's like, oh wait, it wasn't Apaches, it was bandits dressed like Apaches. And boom, they morph into bandits. Or he says, oh, actually there were more of them. And suddenly more enemies drop in out of nowhere. It's genius. You're playing a story as it's being made up. It keeps things unpredictable and fun as hell.
Tooth and nail. They were coming at me from all.
Now let's talk gunplay. Clean, sharp, satisfying. It's got this arcade-style vibe where headshots feel crispy, bullets fly fast, and you're encouraged to go full cowboy mode. You've got slow-mo dodges, duels, and this combo system that makes you feel like a total badass if you chain kills properly. It ain't trying to be gritty or realistic, it's just fun. Like old-school high-score chasing fun. Visually, yeah, it's not ultra-realistic, but it's got this cool, cel-shaded comic book style that totally fits the storytelling vibe. Feels like you're inside an old dime novel or a spaghetti western comic. And the voice acting? Nailed it. Silas just talks non-stop and it never gets old. The dude's got that grizzled charm, full of sarcasm and bravado, but also hints at some real regret and mystery.
Safe, and we're all set to hightail it out of there. I was late to the party in Coffeeville.
He's not just some caricature. There's actually layers to this dude. It's also short and sweet. Doesn't overstay its welcome. You can knock it out in like 5 to 6 hours, but it sticks. You'll remember the weird timeline jumps, the wild boss fights, and the way it plays with your expectations.
More than that, little lady.
With that backpack, Peach Fuzz? Tell me the truth.
Road 96. This is one of the most unique games I have played. Road 96 isn't your usual story game. You're not just playing one person. You're playing a bunch of teenagers trying to escape a country that's basically turning into a dictatorship, and each run is different. Sometimes you hitchhike, sometimes you steal a car, sometimes you just walk across the desert. And every time you meet these same 7 characters, but in totally different situations.
Gotta say something, homegirl.
And your choices slowly shape the country's future. The game's got this mix of episodic storytelling and light gameplay. Like one moment you're fixing a car radio with a trucker dude, the next you're breaking into a building with a hacker girl. There's even a part where you get caught in a police standoff or playing arcade rhythm game in the back of a van. It's super random, but somehow it all ties together. What makes it work is the tone. It's chill and kind of funny most of the time.
Shut the hell up. Shoot.
But there's this quiet tension underneath everything, like you always feel like things could go south fast. And depending on how you play, they do. Some endings are dark, some are hopeful. It depends on what kind of choices you make along the way, not just for yourself, but for the country. Now, the graphics aren't AAA level or anything, but they've got a cool style, kind of cel-shaded, with these soft colors and sunsets that hit just right. The soundtrack is also amazing, very indie, very road trip vibes, one of those soundtracks you want to add to your chill playlist after. But heads up, this ain't a big budget, polished cinematic game. It feels more like a small, artsy experience. Some parts feel a little janky or low budget, and the voice acting is hit or miss. But if you're into choice-driven stories, multiple endings, and those emotional little road moments, it's a vibe. So yeah, if you're down for a short, unique journey that mixes freedom, politics, and weird road trip memories, Road 96 might be your thing. It's like a playable indie film.
I know where the cave is. At least, I think I do.